River needs to settle and the stream of rubbish and prized possessions needs to slow. That could take days. Joel Dry, 7 News. And it is still a pretty precariously placed position as we go to air tonight, and it's all thanks to that crane that you can see in the distance that is sat on a barge. It has been used to construct a pedestrian bridge over the Brisbane River, and essentially that's not where it started the day and it's not where it should be. It's broke its footings earlier this afternoon and managed to head down towards here. It's actually holding for now, but there are a lot of people quite concerned about it. We can see off to my right the police boat there is keeping a close watch, as are these marine contractors. The major concern is that if those feet that are stuck into the riverbed aren't able to hold, it is a
houseboat with a man still on it.
Jump off. Is he going to jump off?
And then horror.
He's going to jump off, right? Oh! Get off! Get off! Get off! Get off!
The boat flips and is sucked underwater. It and the man carried by the raging water from Kangaroo Point to Howard Smith Wharves, where he's spotted clinging to the wharf. There, bystanders pulling him from the water. That's him being freed, the man in his 70s miraculously surviving and even walking away.
The big houseboat just came screeching through, smashed into it, and it disintegrated into pieces.
The mighty Brisbane River is menaced.
Straight shot down to the Brisbane River to some very heavily populated areas, and also the Story Bridge, which, as I understand,
as is with these other flood disaster events that South East Queensland has seen, the true damage lies beneath these murky brown waters. We do know that the Mud Army will, of course, mobilise. They've already started to help others in the community, and they will, of course, strike again. Mud Army 2.0, it's being considered. But it is a really, really trying time for so many people, and what will happen if...
Yes, still waiting for those flood waters to recede. We have been through floods before in Queensland. How does this one compare in terms of the damage?
Well, one thing, it's extremely widespread. We're doing our initial damage. We feel for every person impacted, regardless of number. But, yeah, we've obviously...
boats and expensive toys.
Well, who knows how long to actually clean this whole mess up again.
For every one of the pontoons or boats that happens to end up caught up like this mess here, or that are saved by organisations like Ocean Crusaders, there are plenty more that don't and just end up floating right out to Moreton Bay. Maritime Safety Queensland will have the job of assessing the damage and attempting to locate the owners of lost property.
Where there is an opportunity to recover it and salvage it, we'll work towards that.
But first, the
first real look at the damage it left behind. Over 140 suburbs underwater, more than 15,000 homes flooded, some with water to the rooftop. It seemed little was spared as far as the eye could see. Homes, roads, businesses under a massive blanket of water and mud. The flood level nudging 2011s at a peak of 3.85 metres on the morning's high tide. And below the surface, a cost and stories of heartbreak we can only imagine. The true toll only fully known when all this goes down. Livelihoods, families, every possession, entire businesses all gone. Swept away by the great flood of 2022. From the north to the inner city, the south side, west to Goodna, Ipswich, its CBD and beyond, has continued to be torn away and swept downriver, a marine minefield piling up in a floating junkyard of debris. The worst of the rain may have gone, but not all the flooding. The emergency shifting south to Logan and the Gold Coast. Another life lost in the Currumbin Valley, one overnight in Brisbane.
59
centres as Wivenhoe Dam peaked at 183% capacity overnight. $100 for eligible adults, $400 for each child, and 200 defence personnel ready to help.
Those floodwaters will remain at their peaks for some days yet.
Eventually, the Mud Army 2.0 will be on the march again.
The new Mud Army will be activated in the coming days. At the moment, our priority is to make sure that we get through this dangerous flooding point.
And that can't come soon enough. Lane Kelcott, 9 News.
And as Lane mentioned there, if you are impacted by the floods, you can now apply for that new cash payment through Commonwealth Financial Support. It's now available. The disaster recovery payment, it's $1,000 per eligible adult and $400 per eligible child. Now, it's non-means tested. You can receive it if you've suffered a significant loss, such as a severely damaged or destroyed home. For more information on that, you can visit the Services Australia website.
From its Kangaroo Point moorings and listing, sparking fears it could float downriver and take out who knows what in its path. The first potential target in its way, the lunchtime busy Howard Smith Wharves, and the crane is huge, 550 tonne, the equivalent, including myself and my camera crew and those in nearby apartment buildings, out of the danger zone. And from Polair, orders to get out from elsewhere on the riverbanks. Water Police and Maritime Safety raced to the barge to assess the risk and work out what could be done. As concerns grew, the crane would topple into the river or onto the bank, though an expert told me there was no immediate risk.
Again, we were showing you a little bit earlier, you've got the 4 jack legs there. You can see 3.
Wow, this is just... I don't even have words.
Nor do we either, so that's we don't know where to start.
Furniture floating, fridges flipped upside down.
That's where it went up to in the bar area. All the point of sale systems, that all's wrecked, and yeah, it's just devastation, really.
A total washout at Windsor Bowls Club. So this is Albion, hauling clothes through muddy waters, loading dogs on their shoulders.
How's it been for you?
It's been worse for my daughter. She's
begins.
You just can't get in there. It's quite disturbing to see so much water.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
On Sandgate Road, the cost of this flood is already being laid bare.
I guess you get everything out, you clear the mud.
Get everything out and reassess, yeah, but this is
it here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is Sam. This is his home. Oh. Access to flooded homes only possible with boats, kayaks, really anything that floats. The main street in Graceville today, a makeshift boat ramp. Locals, Good Samaritans, even police launching into the floodwater. Residents being ferried back and forth, grabbing what they can.
My in-laws are further down the streets.
Deadly, dirty, destructive. And this is the scale of the devastation in Ice. Today, there was water. Noel Roberts packed up as quick as he could. Today, his shop floor was a metre under.
Yesterday, we were so low. And then we got calls and contacts and